them come. This is their fate.
Give me my Birdmans. All right. Welcome back to the House of Wolves podcast. I'm your host, Deontay, here with my near and dear friends, Jalen and Josh. Today we got quite a bit to talk about, at least a certain amount of stuff. Hopefully it goes longer than expected. I'm going to throw some stuff in there, throw these people off their game. There's no easy questions coming from me, but we got like Phil Spencer talked about what he wants to do with the Xbox. Stellar Blade demo came out. I finally got around to playing Final Fantasy Rebirth, so I want to talk a little bit about that. Persona and some other stuff. But yeah, before we get started, per usual, Jalen, Josh, tell the people what you've been up to. Jesus, I'm messing up the intro. Tell the people how you been, what you've been up to, what you've been doing, how life going, what you've been playing. Talk to the people.
You go ahead, Jalen.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I haven't really been doing too much. Same old. Not just
Same old.
This week. I ain't do a whole lot, man. I mean, I'm in a basketball league. That had just started up.
No injuries?
I was gonna get to that. We didn't actually get to play because the team forfeited.
Oh, okay, good. No injuries. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So the team forfeited, so we didn't actually get to start. So they gave us a dub with that.
Okay.
This week, I'm not gonna be able to play because I've been going to Japan or whatever. So I'm like, hey man, y'all really just have to have these Thursday games.
Yeah.
So I guess I get my first game, when I come back from Japan. So, but other than that, man, like I was talking with Josh and Deontay, trying to beat Persona 3. I'm at the end of the game. I'm like, man, my dude level 80. I know the game end on January 31st, but it's January 1st right now for me. So I still got 30 days to go through. I could be productive and stuff like that, but I'm at the end of the dungeons and stuff like that. I have to just go back and do the the regular stuff or whatever. Actually pass the time and the story stuff that unlocks at a certain point or whatever. But I'm at the end of where you can progress without the story. So I'm I might as well just go ahead and beat the boss. I kind of want to do I know I get social links open up and stuff like that, so I kind of want to do that. But I'm like, man, I might just go hop in that bed 2 times a day for 30 days and decide to go fight.
Oh my goodness. You done with it that much?
Well, I don't want to influence you. I think you put a whole lot of time into it. If y'all were going to play the DLC, though, Aegis is a big part of the story. So you might want to do her social link. But other than that, yeah, you at the end of the game, I don't think you need to level up or anything like that. It's just pass the time and hang out as many people as you can before the end.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'll probably do that. I will probably at least just finish her social links, and because I was trying to even finish fuse personas and stuff like that, but I don't even know about necessarily doing that because I got you're gonna think it's crazy. So I got Black Frost, his magic at max,
still using Black
Neko
Frost.
Shogun. Neko Shogun, that little cat, little thingy, his strength at max.
Using her still,
yeah. But I was using him because of his resistances, you know what I mean? And then Black Frost, his resistances and all that stuff too. But I'm like, they've been snapping, bro. Then you got the ant boost and the dark boost, and they stacking, 75% damage because you're talking about, you feel me? But that because like I said, I just been doing that, but I did actually fuse one of the later personas and got Alice and Susanoo. So Susanoo pretty straight. So I mean, I'm I might start using him instead of Neko Shogun, but just again the resistances, all that type of stuff. But I was trying to get Thanatos and all that type of stuff, but I was going down this fusion tree, and I'm like, man, I've been fusing for the past 10 minutes, man. I can't keep doing this, bro.
The money's running low.
No, I got the bread. I got 800,000 yams.
Oh.
But it's just the process of back. I'm clicking and I'm really trying to beat this game, but I'm really clicking around. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. I see.
So going through the links and doing fusing, and then I'm running out of space with the personas because you ain't gonna hold a certain amount, and then I got to go through and release them, all that type of stuff. So, Other than that, though, I mean, I'm gonna beat that game, and then I might go buy Stank Souls 2 on my Steam Deck. Not just one, but I might get Dark Souls 2 the whole time. But other than that, man, I ain't been doing nothing. So I mean, that's that.
Okay, okay. All right. Well, what about you, Josh? What you been up to? What you been doing?
Well, speaking of 100-hour games that I'm tired of and I want to finish, I've been playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm gonna let you have your thoughts on it too before I go in on it. We want to hear some positivity sometime
Jesus.
about these games.
Oh my
But yeah, I've been
goodness.
playing that. I'm almost at the end. I really, really, really wanted to beat it before we went to Tokyo, just so I can get it out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at like the 80% mark, so I'm not gonna finish it before Tokyo, but I'm close enough to the end where I feel like I have a pretty like I've been pretty mixed on it. It's still positive, but my impression has just been pretty mixed. But I feel like I have a solid like uh opinion on how I feel about the game now that I'm basically at the end of the game. I got one
Yeah.
more chapter. But yeah, I'll let you talk about it. It's some stuff I like about it, but it's a lot of like problems that I just feel like shouldn't be there. Other than that, I haven't been playing much because I've been setting up a new handheld that I got
Which one you get?
because I love the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck is great, best
Yeah.
product you can buy, and the OLED is also the best product you can buy. But I just wanted something a lot smaller. Like the Steam Deck is too big, and like trying to play it in the bed, like I'm trying to stream Final Fantasy, and it's big, and the screen is big, and it's lighting up the whole room, and the baby trying to sleep. So it's like I want something small.
Mm.
So I ended up getting the Ioneo Air Pro. Basically, all you need to know is a small Windows 11 handheld. It has an OLED display, and
Oh.
it's about the size of the Switch Lite. And I know y'all two probably haven't used the Switch Lite at all.
Yeah.
Like if you think of the regular Switch, take the Joy Cons off, and it's just the size of the screen. So it's like a 5.5-inch screen, and it's OLED, and it looks really nice. And I actually like it a lot. I was having issues with like downloading certain games and trying to play them, and it's a mobile device, and you launch it in full screen, and it's like off the side of the screen, and you got to do a whole bunch of finagling just to get the game to work. Where
Yep.
I didn't have those issues with the Steam Deck, but that's what I wanted to buy into. I wanted the Windows version so I can just have native compatibility for certain games.
Mm.
But overall, after I got all of the setup done, it's been like a week since I had it. I like it a lot. This version I got just because it was the cheapest. This is like the 3-year-old model, so it's actually not as strong as the Steam Deck. The battery is not that good. But for when I'm playing, I mostly wanted to play like I say it, pretty 2D games, stuff like Vanillaware games.
Oh.
Um,
I
I
have
wanted
no
to
idea what
play.
Vanillaware means. But
Oh,
like you talk.
Vanillaware is the company that Masa, Olden Spear, Dragon's Crown,
Oh, the people that made that
Unicorn
unicorn game.
Overlord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So their game's really pretty and they look very good on the OLED. And I've been streaming Final Fantasy on there and it looks very good on the OLED.
Gotcha.
Yeah, anything lightweight that would look good on the screen, that's what I really want to play. Because I
Gotcha.
feel like I don't want to bring my Steam Deck around if I'm gonna be playing a Game Boy game, I'd
Yeah.
rather just have something small.
Gotcha.
Yeah. That being said, there is a newer version of it that's a lot stronger. It has like the most recent like Ryzen mobile chip, but it's way too expensive, and I don't want to overpay for something. So
Yeah.
yeah, the main thing is I still want to use my Steam Deck when I want to really push the games that I'm playing in a mobile way, but I just want something small that runs Windows. So yeah.
Oh, that work. That makes sense. Honestly, I thought the Steam Deck was small once I got that Lenovo. I was like, this
Oh
is
yeah,
that Steam Deck ain't
a lot
nothing
of the
at
other
this
ones were
point.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah. So, no, I get it. Especially when you want that not to be like super bright. Now I love the OLED version of it simply because it does get super dim. Like in the middle of the night, I could play a game and probably not disturb Karina because it just gets super dark.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get what you're saying there because I can't even play that Lenovo. That thing lighting up to half the room. Every time I'm like, dang, this thing bright. This
Yeah.
is one of those ones you can't play unless you're like alone or something because it's super bright regardless of like where you turn down the actual light. So that is a problem that those bigger ones just can't solve for. Um,
Mhm.
my thing is that if I'm gonna get a Windows one, I want it to be performative. So I think what you were looking for was more so just having the capability to run Windows games and like be natively supported. And what I was looking for was kind of like the middle ground between my Xbox and a PC, my full fledged PC. Like I want to have like a middle ground where I'm so I can run Diablo 4 at 1200p with high medium settings with some FSR2 playing, and it looks really good. Because then,
Yeah.
and we gonna talk about that too. Diablo 4 just came out, but the stuff like that, and I think that's where I was targeting. So definitely,
Mhm.
it's a market for everybody, and I'm glad you found one that you actually enjoy and was willing to pick up because I know the future is kind of tying all that stuff together and making sure you have your your library where you want it to be, um,
Mhm.
which drives a lot of my choices today with the humble choice because I know some of them games are going to be games I already own elsewhere, but because they're going to be I'm on PC now and I want to build my library there. The humble choice just gives me the option to be able to pull it into my Steam library and not worrying about if it's on Xbox or if it's on my PlayStation. Like I don't care. So that is why I kind of went with the humble choice thing, and that's what's driving a lot of my decisions. But okay. Yeah, sorry, I went on a tangent. Continue. If you was there any games you was playing on it outside of Final Fantasy, or you been just trying to solely beat that?
Most of my time has been spent on Final Fantasy and been playing a little bit of Unicorn Overlord. Because that's a real good, just like handheld game to play.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's about it. Because my struggle with PC handhelds is that I don't want to like have to crank the settings all the way down just to be able to play 30 FPS or something like that.
Yeah.
And or if I'm gonna play it on 60, I also don't want it to be like 800p or less and a whole bunch of upscaling on mobile. Just because I feel like if I got to do all that, I'd probably rather just stream it because I'll have a better looking and feeling experience streaming it if I'm at
Yeah.
home, for example.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, right now I have smaller games, stuff like Persona 3.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, now I have access to Game Pass games. That's part of the reason I wanted the Windows device so I can play these smaller Game Pass games on the Windows device.
Yeah.
Like so I'm gonna play Sea of Stars, I'm gonna play Persona, Hyper Light. No, what was the game? It's Solar Ash.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, but
Um.
I haven't got time to actually play them. I just been going through making sure stuff works. Like some games
Right.
work perfectly, but then I'll boot up like a random 2D game and it's like I'm getting 10 FPS for no reason and I don't understand it. So
Yeah.
delete.
That is the sometimes that happens where you just have to it's like the luck of the draw kind of. I wouldn't say that much for Lenovo. I think that there is just a lot more compatibility with these right with the ones that and I think you already have one. I think they're all APUs so that they're all some type of form of AMD's Ryzen. I forget what mine's is,
Yeah,
but
it's just I guess some games just might be unoptimized and the
yeah,
stronger ones have ability to, kind of power through
brute
it.
force,
But
yeah,
since I
brute
have a
force.
weaker CPU, it doesn't have that ability. If it's unoptimized, it's gonna struggle.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. Well, that's I'm glad you
That's
shared
about
that
it.
because I know you're now you're on this journey with me of handheld gaming on a piece well Windows based ones anyway. Um,
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm
Yeah, for
thinking
sure.
about. I've been reading about what's it called? Like booting, even though I don't need it, but
Hmm.
booting like Linux on like an SD card, just to like
Oh,
try it. But
yeah,
we'll see. But
yeah,
it's a lot of experimentation, which is interesting.
yep, yep, for sure. Um, and I think the other things that I kind of, well, at least that I wanted to talk about well, at least what I've been doing is I've been playing a lot of Diablo. I was able to kind of get that through the Game Pass, and like I said, I've been using my Legion to kind of play it, and I've been having a good time. It wasn't really I always had it. I guess I never wanted to play that experience on a hand on a on my sit in front of a TV and play it. Just didn't feel like it was. I could play that in spurts while I'm walking around the house, and I do that all the time now. So just form factor of how you have it. Because I owned it on the Xbox for a while, but once it got on Game Pass, I was able to hook up to the PC and I was able to play it. So I put in like 6 8 hours now. And I'm liking it a lot. I like the graphics. I like the crunchiness of the gameplay, the movement. I like the. I mean, it's Diablo. I mean, I don't really know what else to say on that one outside of it's giving me my dopamine when I find something, and I enjoy that type of gameplay. So that is
Hmm.
what I'm enjoying and what I'm liking about it. Uh, what else? What else? What else? I mean, outside of that, story's okay. I'm enjoying it. It's interesting. We're doing interesting stuff right now, and I'm only like level like 17 or 18, so I'm not like that super
Okay.
far into it or anything. But I just
What
been putting some
class
time
you
in.
pick?
I picked the rogue, and I went into the seasonal world.
The seasonal stuff. Okay.
Yeah, versus you
Yeah.
obviously you can't play that stuff unless you decide to not just skip the campaign. But I didn't skip the
The
campaign,
story.
so
Yeah.
yeah. So technically, I had a 14 on a 12 or something, or on my regular one, and then I moved over to the seasonal one and finished and started playing that one too. So, like I said, overall, I probably put in like 12, 13 hours in that game, but I've been having fun. I've been enjoying it. And I think it'd be interesting to kind of actually get into the mixing of classes and starting over, because that's something that they do with the seasonal updates, and like trying to figure out stuff and what can cross over. I'm trying to really understand where should I be putting my time into and stuff like that. So I'm interested. I'm having a good time, and I'm glad it finally came to Game Pass. So that's a big win for them for sure. Um, and then I've been just playing Final Fantasy, and which we can get into in right now. I just so the audience is aware, Jalen had to go take care of some stuff, so he won't be on for the remaining. So if you don't hear him, he's not just not talking; he is out of here. But yeah, so some of the things that I liked about Final Fantasy before Josh tears at a new one. Um, what I enjoy about Final Fantasy right now is the little details. The I like the aspect that we didn't like in Final Fantasy wait, was that 14 or 13? No, it was what was the one with the red boots with the blink with the um Louis Vuitton boot people? Which one was that?
15.
Final 15. 15
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't like exploring that world. I felt like it was a boring, but I like exploring this one. I don't know why it's different. I guess it's simply just a little
Mhm.
bit more interesting to me about what's around it, and every time I turn
The
around the
old world
corner.
is better.
Yeah.
It's smaller for sure. Where it's like 15, it had a lot of
Yeah.
big open field, so I felt like nothing was there.
Yeah.
At least this
So
one is smaller, so you find more interesting stuff faster.
Yes, that's what I would say. I feel like I've been pulled in and I'm being engaged a lot more and a lot more quickly than I would have been previously on 15. So I'm liking the additional, conversations being pulled for different situations, different quests, and like having a different party member have that conversation with you when you're talking to the person versus when you're leaving, because it's not just everybody talking at the same time. It's like they dedicated a quest to Tifa, or they dedicated a quest to Aerith, or they why can't I remember his name? Starts with a B. Bar
Barrett.
Barrett, or the Red X. So it doesn't matter. It's like basically it depends on who you're with, and or what they geared it towards, and sometimes that could be interesting. So I just want to see. It makes me want to that little detail makes me want to do more quests to see how they interact with them in the party, because I'm interested in. I'm not. It's not like I don't like anybody right now. I like everybody. So I think my laid back approach to the game, plus coupled with me just actually liking some of the detail, and things that they do to just try to make it more enjoyable, make it more fun, and make it more engaging, has kind of positioned me in a space where I feel like, man, this ain't that bad. This is actually a pretty enticing world to explore, even if it is small, even if it is like lacking in true dynamic. Like, it's not really dynamic world in that way, but it's dynamic to me because I feel like when I'm doing something, either if they switch up the person I'm with or who I'm talking to, or they switch up the type of quest it is, it's enough to make me feel like everything is a little bit unique in its own right, even if it's not, so there's like little things like that. And then overall, the combat is really, really fun to me. It's engaging. I'm not playing on the highest difficulty. I still find it engaging and complex enough to make me feel like I need to put some time in to actually learn a little bit about it more. Because honestly, I'm trying to brute force everything, and that doesn't really make sense. So I am running into just quests that I'm getting whooped on, and I'm having a fun time just trying to figure out, okay, do I need to come back, or can I figure out a way to beat it? And that's usually what is making me have some fun with the game. It's just kind of tweaking my tweaking my loadout, tweaking my people who's with me, tweaking what they do and the commands I give them. And maybe you just better at those games, but I am finding enjoyment in just stacking my loadout and trying to figure out what works best for my setup and how I want to play. So I feel like it does have some layers. I'm not saying that they like the most complex, but I think that the gameplay has some layers to it that makes me enjoy that part of it too. Lastly, the story is still engaging to me. I feel like there's a lot going on that I am enjoying. I just ran into a big snake. I really went doing a bunch of quests. I really haven't done I'm literally doing the second mission now. So I just been doing a lot of side quests, playing a lot of Queen's Gambit. Queen's Gambit is really fun. I like going to collect the cards. I went through on a whole quest about nothing but Queen's Gambit, and that was my favorite thing so far. And I'm just enjoying the little details. I'm enjoying what they made a game fun, and I'm just enjoying what they provided as the fun aspect, I guess. So to me, it's not like it's a 10 out of 10. I ain't played that much. I'm just saying right now, I feel like it's a game that I would definitely see myself putting a lot more time into, and I can or at least not feel so bad about the graphics being terrible. I mean, they try to launch something where it's like performance mode with sharper stuff, but to me, it don't look that much better. So yeah, I'm not. I hate that the performance is like that. Sorry, I hate that the performance is like that, and I hate that they force you to play it on there. But it is what it is. So yeah. But that's where I'm at. I could go on a little more, but I'm gonna let you get your piece.
Oh yeah, I agree with a lot of those points about the characters. I think that is definitely the strongest stuff. And now that I'm like almost done with the game, I'm on chapter 13 out of 14.
Mm-hmm.
And the character stuff is the best stuff in the game. And so like the side quest you were saying, I was doing some with Aerith and Tifa not too long ago. And yeah, they put a lot of time in to have it like a one-on-one moment with the characters, or having the characters like meeting NPCs and like trying to help the world or stuff like that. And that's been the most interesting stuff because it feels the most
Dynamic.
natural and most needed. Like we know this is what people want, and you didn't get enough of this before, and now we have, you know, better graphics, better voice acting, stuff like that, so we can really push these characters and bring them to life. And so yeah, that's the best part. You might have seen it in the trailers, but the golden saucers, like the casino area, you spend a lot of time hanging out, and that's so far my favorite part of the game because you spend a whole lot of time with everybody and really get to like know them.
Gotcha.
The open world stuff, like the first area you did, I enjoyed it. The problem is I also did the second area fully complete, and then I skipped the third, I skipped the fourth and fifth and sixth and seventh. So I skipped like all these open world areas because it kind of is a chore for me. And it's not that the stuff is bad, it's that it is a chore. Like you look at the list and Chadley wants you to collect 50 things, and some of them are fun, some of them are just, you know, beat up some enemies. But the problem is the game is just too long, even without the open world stuff. Like I did the first two areas complete, and I skipped the next 8. Like I didn't do anything. I just did the main story. I skipped everything. I'm 80 hours in the game. So this game is like a minimum
150. That's what they were saying.
Yeah.
Like,
a minimum 150 if you want to do everything. And if you just want to beat the story, you probably like 70, 80. And
man.
it's not because like it's hard. It's just chapters are long. Like you will you're gonna do a lot of cutscenes, you're gonna go a lot of places, you're gonna fight like 5 30-minute boss fights. And so the game is long. And that's kind of waning on me, where the stuff that I enjoy feels farther apart because I'm spending so much time just going through the game. I'm going through this cave, I'm going through this dungeon, it's going forever. I don't feel like anything that's happening here is necessary. So it's just, I like the game a lot.
Would you be more? Would you be more? I guess my question is: I know because we talked about it before. Does the purchasing of the PS5 have any impact, or is it not really? It's like a mute factor because you probably don't get your money back. What do you feel about that part? Do you feel like, does that weigh on you when you plan it? Like, I wasted time or wasted my energy on this part because now it feels like it's not that great, or is it not really a factor?
I mean, it might be a small factor, but I don't find myself thinking about the money or buying it. It's more, I guess, my expectations overall. So I like the first game a lot, so I expected a big improvement from the first game, and some stuff are improved, some stuff are not. So it's kind of like, okay, I'm kind of disappointed because it's not a full like upgrade over the first one. And then second, you know, it is a PS5 game, and it's not that I spent the money on it, but I expected a PS5 exclusive to be better in all aspects. Like the characters and the acting and the animation is really good, but the lighting I don't like. Like I hate how every time you walk outside it's overblown. Like... and that happens all the time, and the whole game is daytime. It's like why would you make a daytime game and overbloom it like this? And then you have other issues, like the textures are not good. Like it's a part in the game where you're in the airplane and you look down at the ground and everything is like 256p. Like, why these rocks look like this? Like is this the PS5 power? Like I thought y'all
Yeah.
said no loading times and all these teraflops. So I see the issues more, and I feel like when I played the first game, like other than that JPEG door, like I didn't see a whole bunch of issues when I was playing. I was just enjoying it. But now I see a whole bunch of technical issues, and the game is too long, and so I feel like I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't say the game is bad, and I can't say I'm not enjoying it because it is. It's fun. It's just overall package doesn't feel complete. Like I mean, not complete because it has a whole bunch of content. It doesn't feel done, like well packaged. I guess
Gotcha.
analogy like you expecting something nice for Christmas. You got a PS5 in the box, and your parents they didn't wrap it, they didn't write a note, they didn't do anything. You see the system under the tree, it's half open. It's like, okay, I'm happy, but I kind of presented this better. Act like
Yeah.
you care.
Act like you care.
So it's just a little disappointing. And the mini games I think is going to be a personal preference. The mini games are fun. Like I like Queen's Blood. It's probably one of the better mini games. But there are 20 other mini games in the game. Some of them are trash. Some of them are good. You have to do them if you're gonna be doing the side quests. And some of the main story stuff you have to do them. And then there's only one part that I think about the game is actually trash, and it's they make you play as a weak character for a whole chapter by himself, and you have to fight like real enemies. It's like this is not fun. Playing as this character is not fun in this situation by itself. Like if I had my team, I can experiment and we do some team attacks, blah blah blah. But I'm playing by myself. I can't use team attacks. The enemies just keep knocking me in the air. It's not fun. So the little issues are what bother me. I just expect for a PS5 exclusive like this from Square Enix, one of the biggest games this year, shouldn't have all these little issues. That's my main problem, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, the
sense.
teach is on. Everybody's gonna enjoy it, and I'm happy that you're enjoying it because I think it is a good game. I'm enjoying the story. But just like Jalen was saying with Persona, you can enjoy it, but with a 100-hour game, the little nitpicks really add up over time.
Right. Okay. Well, no, and I get your point there. So I'm not even. There's no real rebuttal. I think those are valid critiques. And hopefully at the end of that, I can we can kind of have a better, more in-depth conversation in regards to everything.
What I will say, because
I
know I'm negative on it, but like later when it comes out on PC, if I can get it on discount, I might go back and do some stuff that I skipped. But being able to play it on PC, I can like remove some of the things I don't like. If they got a mod, I don't like this mode, I don't like this character, I want to skip this, then I can do that because the game is good and the world, like you said, is probably the best part, seeing how they really expand on this world and the characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's move on here to our next topic. Let's talk Stellar Blade. Yay! Stellar Blade had a demo come out not too long ago, and I think I finished it and played the final part. I don't know did you finish the game, the demo?
I played through a good chunk of it. I haven't finished it, but I'm planning on actually going back and finishing the boss.
Gotcha. Okay. So I went through the game, and it's not like this game came out of nowhere. I was watching it for a very long time, but it was I'm not saying that it was like a a problem, but the jiggle physics, all that stuff, it kind of made me feel like the game wasn't going to actually be decent. It felt like it was just going to be fan service, to be honest. I think that's usually what they target with those games. But and it still is overall. Like as soon as you come out, the girl is dripping in water, and I'm just like, bro, what the heck is happening? So I'm just like, there is going to be plenty of it. I guess I wasn't expecting it to have a solid foundation underneath. And for me, solid found. Yeah, go ahead.
No, that's a good point. Because I was thinking about it, like you can categorize a lot of like fan service games in two things, where it's just the characters all fan servicey and attractive and stuff, but there's no depth to anything else. There's no depth to the story, no depth to gameplay or nothing like that. It's just we have attractive characters, and versus other side where we have an attractive character, but we tried to put some substance elsewhere, like the story in Nier, or like the playing Bayonetta and the combat and stuff like that. Yeah. So Stellar Blade seems for me so far to fall in the latter half, where there is feels like there's some substance here, but just curious to see how deep it actually goes.
And that was my thought, where I was like, so as I was playing it, let me try to just take y'all through like my thought as I was playing it. When I first started it, I was like, yep, that is exactly what I expected. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, yep, this is exactly what I thought was going to happen. And then we kind of moved into first initial combat, and then I realized that it wasn't Bayonetta style. It was more Sekiro, or if you ever played it, it's called Code Vein, where it was like Souls-like, but a little bit faster pace, but it's still Souls-like. And I started to see, okay, there's some depth there, but immediately got pulled out of it for a while due to the timing of the parry. I felt like that was just awful. I needed to fix it. I know he said that the person that the director was talking about how you got to change your game to game mode. I'm like, I know I have low latency. It's on game mode. This parry just doesn't feel right to me. And it might not feel right to me, and it might feel right to everybody else, but to me, it felt like it was a little too delayed. It wasn't really as responsive as I would consider like a Sekiro or anything like that. It's definitely not like Sekiro. But that aside, I started to see some depth right then and there when I was like, okay, my parries actually have some meaning. It's not really a dodge button that can get me out of danger. Like, Bayonetta is difficult, don't get me wrong, but there's a big component to being able to just dodge a lot. And there's not like a lot of I think you give yourself more of a challenge by doing additional things, by trying not to drop combos, blah blah blah. This is like a challenge at the top half, where you start to learn the mechanics, and then you start to see how it can become easier and like upgrades and stuff like that. So this is more top heavy when it comes to the challenge, versus Bayonetta is like on the later half, where you start to run into a lot of enemies, a lot of strong enemies, and you got to really start using all your tools. This is more top half, and that's where, and we get to the end of the demo, but right then and there, I was like, okay, challenges here, the challenges at this parry, this timing, trying to get a better parry window, learning the different mechanics for like dodging, and then using like the blink when they make you upgrade to the blink, so that you can get behind enemies when they do the flash. So you're starting to see a combination of things that try to mix up the gameplay and readings, and like what you're reading for and what you're looking for. So as I continue to play, that was something that intrigued me. That was I started to enjoy. I started to see the mix-ups and what they could do and what possibly can come down later down the pike. And then I started to continue on, explore. I like the world. I like that. I guess Eve is kind of basically like she doesn't realize what Earth is. So I'm still intrigued by just that aspect of it. I'd like to be able to explore from a lens of someone that does not know what Earth is, really. and what they try to do with that. It's not like super deep, but it's enough to keep me enticed and like have a reason to, I wouldn't say root for a character, but it's a reason for me to be connected to a character because I understand what the Earth is and understand what it's like to, I guess, be. I guess what the thing for me is how they try to work that into the story. I feel like this the gimmick of having someone be moldable or like have it from the lenses of having someone be able to share the lens of who or what I am coming into the world. Like, I don't know what this world is, even if it is Earth. I understand what Earth is, but this Earth is totally different than the Earth that, you know, I'm living on. And like, this is a fictional world. So having the ability to have Eve be that person to explore and still have that viewpoint makes the writing a lot easier for sure, but it also makes it more relatable. So hopefully with those gimmies, those quick little easy gimmies, they kind of can make something decent to follow. And I started to couple in like what I saw for the advertisement and like not Eve's per se model, but the other character models looked like they had some really good detail and touch to them that made me feel like they probably, hopefully they cared about them, making them seem meaningful. But I will say, the one that got killed off early on, I said those deliveries were terrible. The her line deliveries, I said, what is this? I'm glad she got killed off. I don't know if that was just her, but I'm just saying, I was like, these deliveries are terrible. I really hope this isn't like how the voice acting is going to go out. I'm fine with Eve. She's just supposed to be someone that's like, I don't know, not really. She's just meant to be the to just be portrayed as someone that's looking through that lens. I'm fine with ignoring everything she says. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm more so interested in everybody else's conversations and what they can have. I think me projecting myself as that Eve technically will help me with just not caring like how she delivered her lines or what it really means, because all they're doing is feeding her lines to get more information about the world to us. That's all I care about, you know?
Yeah.
So that is fine. I'm interested in the world, and if they can build around that and keep giving me information about it, similar to a Nier Automata. I just feel like Nier was just too far out there that I couldn't really understand it. I think this is a lot more relatable and easier for me to get. Not relatable, but easier for me to get, I guess. I just felt like I was so confused by Nier by the end of it. And I hope I'm not the same with this one. It don't feel like that, but it could be. I mean, they obviously said very clearly, we made this game because of Nier. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah.
I said, all right, man. I'll take it.
Appreciate the honesty.
yeah, exactly. They just, and then outside of that, there's obviously the shortcuts we were seeing and like being able to get around stuff, enemies respawning, jumping out at you, trying to catch you off guard when you're not looking. All that stuff feel like it's going to have more of a punishing but more interesting world to explore. I want them to be able to put stuff in areas that maybe you shouldn't try to go to, but it's worth it because you might find something interesting or valuable. So, as I finished through that, I got to the last point. I got to the boss fight. I'm fighting everything. I'm having a good time. Upgrades are flowing. I feel like the upgrades are meaningful, and everything. I beat the fast fight. I'm on a great high. And they said, hey, go check out some later stuff. And that is where I got disappointed. I said, this does not feel as in depth as I thought it would go. It just felt a lot more of the same. And I was like, well, is it gonna really? I was like, they kind of messed up by showing me the end stuff. I was like, if this is like middle tier, yeah, fine, but I didn't get a new weapon. I unlocked like the guns, but the guns just felt like Pal Worlds. I was like, I don't know. So I wasn't impressed by the extra, to be honest.
Mhm.
I'm hoping the world itself, coupled with the intriguing, enemies, because I was enjoying the enemies. I know you said and you could speak your half of it, but we were talking about the enemies. But I did like the enemies. I felt like they were all like fish based or something. Like I thought a starfish one, and it was like the a crab looking one with a big shield, and then there was like the weird tentacle looking thing, and they all had like fish names. So I felt like there
Mhm.
was something going on with with the with that type of like vibe they were trying to go for or something. So I dig that. I liked it, and that's where I kind of ended it at, where I was like, I still have enough here to make me want to play it more. But my big thing was, is it now to me? Because I kind of was able to peel back a little bit. Is it worth the $70 that they're requesting? And
Yeah.
graphics wise, it's fine. Like I'm glad I can see a performance. I'm glad I can see that they did a resolution balance and performance mode. And they all look great. They all run well. The set pieces look really cool. The engaging. They got quick action buttons. I hated it, but I mean at least it kept me engaged. And the moments where I started to just watch because I felt like it was just look good. So that is where I kind of fell and like left it. I know we had a little conversation, but yeah. What about you, Josh? I know you kind of played it, so that's my piece. I'm still on the
Yeah.
fence, but that's where I'm at.
I actually I'm gonna start with the negative this time because my notes on the negative are actually short, and it
Okay.
basically is similar stuff where you said the voice
Yeah.
acting in the beginning wasn't great. Like you said, Eve is pretty bland, and
Mhm.
she's got like a weird British accent, and I didn't like it, but she's the main character. As long as these supporting characters are like great, your main character can be like mute and they don't talk at all.
Yeah.
But the other
Like
characters, yeah, they
Cloud.
didn't seem that great. Yeah, like Cloud. Well, he talks a lot more in the second game, which
Oh,
is
okay.
good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
normally, yeah, in the first game, he was a mute spitter.
Yeah.
uh, Barrett had to do all the talking.
Yeah.
But yeah, the voice acting overall wasn't great, and the accents they felt fake, so I
Mm.
didn't like it. So I decided I'm gonna just try it in Korean because I've never played a Korean game. I don't know what it's like. Like I play Japanese games in Japanese and listen to anime in
Mm-hmm.
Japanese sometimes. I don't have a preference. Like if it's in English, I'll listen to it. Unless it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I tried it in Korean. Didn't understand what they were saying, but it didn't sound like bad or anything. So
Right.
I'm gonna keep playing the demo through that. But basically, if it's in Korean, I'm just judging the animation and the camera work and the cutscenes.
Yeah.
And what I will say is that I'll move over to the positive is that the cutscenes, like graphics, look very good.
Mm-hmm.
Like the characters and animations, but more like the lighting and how they use like post processing in the camera. Oh,
Oh,
there's
yep.
dirt on the
Yep.
camera and stuff like that. And so that was very good. A lot of games don't doesn't do any tricks with like they're fighting, but it's mostly like the characters throwing magic and stuff. But
Correct.
I was just impressed by the cutscenes. And overall the graphics look pretty good. It's not Last of Us, but it's not going for a super realistic art style. But it looks very good. Good lighting, good performance with the graphics as well. On the opening beach level, I thought it looked very good, even though it was linear. The water and the skybox, everything brought it together. It looked very nice. And then when you move on into the city, I liked just how the atmosphere felt, like the rain. Like I mentioned, it was raining, and the dual sense controller was shaking based on the raindrops.
Mm-hmm.
The music was pretty good. Had whoever she's singing in a angelic voice, and it made the just overall the atmosphere pretty good. It was like, okay, so this tells me that whoever made this game actually not just cares, but they know what is can be impressive about this world, and they're really
Yeah.
trying to showcase it. So that's good. It makes me interested to see the rest of the world. You know, my worry was that the game was going to be mediocre. You're going to be in a bunch of like, caves or dungeons, and there's nothing going on about the game other than the girl is, wearing a skin tight suit.
Yep.
But it seems like that at least I expect the music to be good and there to be some interesting environments. So there might be some stuff I like about it. Um, yeah, overall, as far as like the enemies, I didn't hate them, but they
Hmm.
were okay. I was still trying to figure them out, but they all look weird.
Yep.
Like the one bat thing that like killed your friend, like that one looked
Yeah.
interesting. So I want to see how it evolves. But so far, they just seem like monsters. Like they didn't have any like personality or anything like that. That's all I meant. Where I don't know, you know, if the enemies are gonna draw me, but we
Gotcha.
gotta wait and see.
Gotcha.
The levels were okay, pretty basic, like level design, but
Yeah.
like I said, I enjoy the environment, so I want to see more.
Gotcha.
And I don't actually have much to say about the combat. Like you said in the beginning, it felt like one of those games where in the beginning you're underpowered, but you
Yeah.
get upgrades and stuff, and it improves over time. That's what was my expectation. Okay, maybe my dodge gets better, my parry
Hmm.
gets better. I saw that they had a double jump or stuff like that, so like, okay, maybe over time the combat will feel more tight. Um, but based on what you said, it might not be that big of a difference, but
Yeah.
it still feels like that game where there's some key abilities that might be missing in the beginning, but once you get them, the combat is really going to click. But
Yeah.
hopefully, we just
And
gotta
there
wait.
there is a lot of matching of stuff that you can do and like dodging out the way and like they do have like a mechanic for Bayonetta like witch time or something like where you slow down time for
Yeah,
a lot of that stuff and it's cool. So I am looking forward to exploring it more. My big thing right now is it worth 70? That's all. I don't know about that. I think it's
yeah,
I'm just trying to I don't know. This is the only game I'm interested in, even in the slightest. But is it worth $70? That's my real question. I really don't like to put the prices on them because simply, I guess whatever you like. But it does weigh into me now simply because I'm just like I got plenty of games to play. I really don't necessarily need to play this right now, and
Mhm.
you might have a better experience waiting for but I do want to, show appreciation for them giving you a good experience out the gate because this demo tells me that they're confident and they actually have made a game that runs well because a lot of people, you're looking at sub 900p upscaled and that don't look like that on this one. Um so it's good that way. So I keep
yeah.
it in my
Uh,
radar.
yeah, it's on my radar. I feel like I'm leaning against it for buying it for 70, but
Yeah.
I feel like it at least impressed me enough that I will buy this game at a discount. But I feel
Yeah.
like this is kind of just like a side effect of where the industry is at this point, where it's like
Yeah.
there's not a lot of space for medium-sized games.
Yeah.
Like if Stellar Blade was like a PS2 game, like the graphics wouldn't have been that great, but it
Mhm.
might still be a pretty fun game that you get a lot of fun from, and it didn't cost like full price. It was cheaper than,
Yep.
a first party game or something like that.
Hmm.
But now everything has to cost 70, and that makes you judge it against like every other game that is also out at the same time. So I don't feel like I would choose that over, like, for example, I got Dragon's Dogma 2, but if
Yeah.
I'm going to play that or Stellar Blade, I got to make a choice. I can only play one. They both cost the same price.
Yeah.
And for me, unfortunately, I feel like Dragon's Dogma is the safer choice for me because I know I would enjoy it
Hmm.
more. Stellar Blade is more of an unknown. It's a new IP.
Yep.
It's not a brand new developer, but it's a developer I'm not that familiar with. So I'm have to wait on it, which is unfortunate. And if
Yeah.
there were more ways to access games, not necessarily Game Pass, but renting games or PlayStation Plus, Game Pass, or the time trials that Sony does. Just more ways to really try games. I think that's necessary to kind of like alleviate that anxiety about spending $70.
$70. Yeah, they cost too
Yeah.
much for you not to have an option. And I think Sony is leading the charge now with I think companies that work with Sony tend to do demos anyway, but
Mhm.
there's a lot of demos that have been coming out lately for games like Sandland had a demo, and things like that. So I don't think Rise of Ronin got one, but it definitely could have if they were smart. I would have did that. But there is stuff like that where you can see free play days and all that stuff that's coming out. But these are like multiplayer on games and not single player stuff. So we have to start to see that come back in a big way for people to start to really trust buying these large games that lead with fan service. Sorry, Minister.
Yeah,
but yeah,
it's definitely getting a lot of marketing. That fan
yeah,
service is put this
it's
game on the map.
it's working. It's working because if
Um,
the people that didn't wasn't interested got to see it, and the people that are interested got to see it. It's like, all right.
yeah,
So
and
yeah,
I think, is there anything in the news about Stellar Blade? Because there's been a lot of uh discussions about this game online in the
I
news.
mean I don't really listen because I honestly what bubbles up to me is most of the time just um it really is it's like through my main I guess channels of X IGN, but I haven't seen anything about Stellar Blade outside of people just praising it for not being um I don't know, censored. I guess people really enjoy the fact that that's not I guess. People enjoy the fact that this game is coming out in this time, in this age, where people are very much so not looking or the media is not pushing that kind of game where the people or the individuals in the game are I don't even know what you call it, subjectively pretty or whatever. I feel like this game they could have looked like the old girl from Tomb Raider and I still would have bought it. I really don't I mean, if I really like the bottom line of it is maybe I wouldn't have gave it no mind at first. I don't know. I didn't give this any mind at first. I just was like looking at the other gameplay mechanics, but to me, there is a way to do a female character and it don't have to be like this, but if this is what they want to do, that's on them to do it. I can't really get mad at someone for doing it either way. All I know is that there
Yeah,
is a I have a lot of female characters that I enjoy playing with that are not I guess subjectively attractive to me. Aloy, I really like her as a character. And I don't like Eve as a character per se. Like I said, I already talked about that. She doesn't wow me as a character. It's just something that I'm playing with. Bayonetta, I like Bayonetta simply because of her attitude and what she brung to the
yeah,
table and how she talked to the characters around her. It was like they were beneath her, but and it was just funny to me. I felt like it was fun. It was enjoyable at that time, and I mean, still at this time, I still like it. But I don't know. I guess this character is
yeah.
just
Venetta's personality
yeah,
was her biggest strength. Yeah.
yeah. It's just that
Uh,
this character is just this character. It's not really nothing about Eve is telling me that Eve is a great, female lead character. It's just Eve is subjectively pretty. So
yeah, that's what I will say. That so far, Eve doesn't have a strong character or personality. She's not
yeah,
funny. She's not, you know, whatever. She's pretty bland. But they're leading with just like her assets and how she looks. I
yeah,
feel like though people are being subjective, and that there are a lot of like sexy or like pretty girls in games that come out all the time, but not from a first party backed studio. Like the only difference, this got a big budget and it's got a lot of marketing. But
mm,
like Near
yes,
exists and there's been other games that came out recently that also have characters that are, showing off assets and stuff like that, or you just look at any Mortal Kombat game and everybody in bikinis. But
Yeah.
That being said, the game itself, I feel like should be judged more on whether the game is good or not that it's
Nah.
I guess
I don't agree with people
avoiding
avoiding a game simply. Now there is a genre. It's called fan service. I'm sorry, but that is a genre for me that I don't care for because it is enticing you based off of one thing and one thing alone.
Yeah.
I feel like this kind of already got out that box because they have something better for me at the on the like foundationally. It is what it is that they decided to have that as the character, but it's like me being mad at One Piece for Nami and Ron and Robin's like character design. Like they changed it, yeah, but they still have more depth to them to me than just their, how they're drawn. So that would be hypocritical of me for me to be my favorite anime to be One Piece and them they in there like that. And then be like, I can't play this because of this. I'm like, nah, that ain't how it works.
Even like Final Fantasy, like Tifa is barely wearing anything.
Yeah, facts.
But her personality is more is interesting, so her attractiveness is not, I guess, too distracting, or it feels like where it's like a negative. That's just part of her character.
Exactly. I think that. It becomes like it becomes a moot point for me after I start to actually care about the character. Like when I met Nami, she didn't have like the big boobs, and she was just Nami, and she was trying to save her village, get that money up, and trying to protect her family, and that was it. That was all I needed to kind of like start to care about Nami, and that's just like what I would have with Sanji and the rest of them. It's just like they had actual characters I want to cheer for. So as long as you provide that, that's fine. I just don't think it's a whole big deal of whether or not they are how they create them in their character models. I think it really at the end of the day, we all know that certain things are I guess more appeasing to the eye versus others, and that's what they decide to do. But I can't get mad at them for doing it. I really don't want to step on someone else's art and be a pretender as if this is so god awful disgusting while I watch other stuff where that stuff is praised as art. So I don't really whatever. So yeah. I've been trying to stay away from the discourse because it's just that's exactly what it sounds like most of the time is that people are just either one way or the other.
And hyperbolic, where it's the worst thing ever or it's the best thing ever, and realistically, this game is not either. It's it might be okay.
Everybody forget Quiet. Quiet was like. Didn't she have like radioactive skin or something? I forget what her whole thing was, or she couldn't wear clothes.
She got it's like photosynthesis or something, where she needed the sunlight directly on her skin in order to live, covering herself. She couldn't breathe or something.
They built the fan service into her character. As long as you do that, that's fine with me.
Same thing. But as long as you back it up with something good, nobody care.
Nobody care. Nobody cared. So that's what I'm saying. That's just like, there's a reason why it's like that, and for people to pretend like there's nothing there, I guess, whatever. But I think there's value in just having strong female-led characters in all types of games, even if they look like that. So, obviously, I don't feel like Eve's a well-written character yet. And I mean, it's to be decided, but it ain't looking too hot right now. And you could judge that on its own versus judging it simply because of what she looked like. So, but yeah. let's move on to our last topic because we talked about that and the other one's way too long. We at the hour mark. So we're gonna talk about one last thing and one last thing only. And that is the Xbox handheld, aka also the well not aka, but the Xbox handheld and opening up the Xbox platform to become like open, where you can have stores on it and basically treat it like a GUI, like a Steam OS that brings in everybody to be able to play on Windows, like space running on Windows or something like that. Let's talk about that first, and then let's go into the Xbox handheld, because I was pretty harsh on the Xbox handheld last week, and I kind of want to explain my thoughts around it now. So let's talk about that. Opening the platform, Josh. Would you be open to GUI like Steam OS on your Xbox that would allow you to play other game stores on your Xbox? Like Steam and Epic?
I think that, I mean, since I use PC, yeah, I feel like it's a logical thing because you can't own everything on one platform, or even if you do,
Yeah.
it's not realistic. You know, like we were just talking about Humble Bundle earlier, and if I bought Humble Bundle and I got a game on Steam, but it's also available on Xbox, just having the option to sign into Steam on my Xbox and download it and play it is great for me on a consumer standpoint. It's great for all consumers, be able to have access to yourself in any way. And it being on Xbox will have its own benefits. You know, maybe it could tie into the platform somehow, or it has achievements, or just you have the console version of the game, and so it's performance-wise is going to run okay. That would open up a situation where, you know, maybe the game doesn't run good on my PC. I don't have to refund it on Steam and go out to buy an Xbox game. I can just download it on the Xbox and play it. So
the Xbox version.
that would be
maybe
great.
you
The Xbox version. You know, there are some limitations, but performance-wise, it should be pretty locked in. We ain't gotta finagle with settings. So yeah, that would be great. For me right now, I don't know if I have a use case for it, but having the option is never bad. That being said, I personally struggle to see it working smoothly.
Yeah.
Like, you know, is Ubisoft going to want to play fairly where I got the game on Uplay and they're going to give me exactly what I own on Uplay, or am I going to have to settle for like a, you know, Assassin's Creed basic version? I can't play the deluxe edition. I got to rebuy the DLC or something weird like that. So I don't know how it will work, but I think that could be a completely new market for Xbox to target. Again, though, it's consumer friendly. Xbox wouldn't make any money off this, I don't think. But
nope.
Yeah.
That's where I was thinking of, like, just having the GUI on the PC and not have much integration with your Xbox library. Like, it'd just be a GUI that they create like Steam OS, where it's considered in the Xbox branding, but really it is simply a Windows version, a Windows like light, you know, where it's just, it can run everything, it can do everything that Windows can do, but it's in this optimized format for gaming. And that would be the key to kind of having a competitor to Steam Deck. And then that would incorporate the Xbox handheld, because it is just another Windows-esque Windows handheld device, but running this new and improved window light. And I don't think they can, like, they can't just put it on. And that's where I was kind of like, I don't need an Xbox handheld, because if they're not going to be able to just put that and restrict it to simply this handheld, it has to be like some open source, or like it has to have the availability for Windows owners to either purchase or to be able to tap into. I don't know about purchasing. I don't think they could get around that. That'd be so anti-consumer it'd be ridiculous,
Mm-hmm.
especially if it's just a more optimized version of Windows. Um, I don't know, but my thought process would be I don't need an Xbox handheld because I don't really want to play anything on the Xbox that's not available on my PC. And I don't really need that outside of a licensing and stuff like that. Yeah, we might have to cut our legs and get rid of our Xbox, our in console like experience at home for a much better operating system that runs on the future, because we can't keep up with PlayStation and how they outsell us all the time. And I read some articles the other day about how people don't want to make games for Xbox no more. So if they're dealing with those types of pressures, why not just, open it up and forget about the Xbox entirely and just incorporate that Windows PC experience? They're never going to get rid of the PC experience, and just go to a console. It just doesn't make sense. I think that's where they're trying to gear themselves up for. Maybe not exit completely, because then they give up a foothold and maybe it causes a lack of, I don't know. I wouldn't even think it would cause anything, because honestly, people have shown that that game on Xbox already either own a PC or dabbling or getting into looking into a PC, because the benefits are just too valuable on both ends to not. Like, every time I buy a game via Game Pass or Play Anywhere, that I have a copy of that on my PC too. So they're doing the work to make it where they're seamless, right? And in the future, probably in the next generation of consoles, you're not even going to think twice about all your library being available on the PC and whatever that in home in front of the TV box is, because really at the end of the day, that thing going to be a PC. And if it's that, and I can switch modes to go to Xbox and then I can go to PC mode, but in like this Windows Lite version, I'm probably going to use the Windows Lite version more, because simply enough, it turns it brings my whole gaming library that I've been gearing up to, have everywhere. It brings it into that living room space, and they don't lose anything. You still own that console. You still have that operating system. You still have the access to those licensed games. They don't lose anything, and I think the value of them kind of still goes up. Does it diminish the brand? It's the way, it depends on how you look at it. But to me, it's a win-win. And I think they're smart enough as a software company to make it really special. Like, even if you were trying to go stay in the Windows mode, if that game natively runs well on the Xbox, they could probably just tap into that and not necessarily use the additional ability that the Windows version may have. Or they could just start to, do that and allow you to just tweak and have dedicated settings like the Steam Deck, and make that thing, because it's dedicated hardware, you can have a community around it. And but that stuff becomes a lot less user friendly and a lot more tinkering. So I don't know. I see the benefit for sure. I see the value behind having an open platform, but I also see the concern. So, what are your thoughts on the Xbox handheld, Barna?
I'm like I said, I'm interested in Microsoft as a hardware, having access to make hardware that's really good. But even if they don't do that and they only target the software side, having Windows, making a more lightweight version of Windows that specifically runs games, would be great. Because like I'm playing on Windows 11 right now, and I like Windows 11 so far. It's, I don't have any issues with it, but there are always some things that are just specific to the desktop experience that kind of make handhelds not as seamless as it should be. Like having
Right.
to tab through multiple windows and trying to
Yep.
move files back and forth. And so making that experience more console-like, where you don't have to worry about, if I press play, the game is
Mm-hmm.
going to launch correctly, it's be the right resolution, and it's not going to put me in a situation where, okay, now I got to take this thing and plug it into a TV, because now I
Mm-hmm.
need a bigger screen to like finagle with like the settings. So that's the
Mm-hmm.
most desirable thing for me, is that Microsoft actually putting effort into making Windows perform better on a handheld space. Like a lot of the other Windows handheld devices are kind of carried by either the community support or the
Mm-hmm.
company that developed it. Like the Ioneo one that I have, their game software, which is basically like a Steam big picture mode, it actually works pretty well. And the extra features like TDP, like auto TDP and all that type of stuff, it works really well because they built that into the device.
You're right.
But having that on a native like Windows level,
Yep.
where it's easily accessible and user friendly, will be great to make uh, handhelds overall just better. That way, you know, it doesn't all have to be on Steam
Yeah.
to do this type of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. No. No. No.
Um,
I think Steam. What Steam showed was that people are hungry for a good wrapped product that provides access to all. And I don't know if Windows ever understood that stripping back your abilities can sometimes end up being a plus for them. Like, I'm not saying that like what Steam OS is really good at is that they have a desktop mode and they have your OS mode where they just literally wrap you up in this GUI that takes care of a lot of the crazy weird stuff that usually happens. What Windows is starting to see is that some people actually enjoy that aspect of, a GUI based situation where that is taking care of a lot of the weird stuff that's happening. It's more touch or more controller friendly, and it provides I think that's what they did with the Xbox. That is what they did. It's now taking that and incorporating it into their Windows, and like in a meaningful way. Um, so I'm looking forward to community support for like community layouts. I'm looking forward to the ability to allow people to load up community settings. So if you have an Xbox Series X and they're targeting this, Microsoft might provide optimized settings, but at the same time, the community can go in and tweak and you can download those settings and it just changes everything for you. Nothing you have to touch. I want some of those features to come over that the Steam Deck is providing. Stuff like that,
yeah.
where it shows you the capabilities, harnessing the true capabilities of like having a open platform, but minimizing it enough to make the average person understand it. That's all that Steam did. They just made it easy for the average person to understand. And obviously everybody
Now,
knows that's all Apple did. So why can't y'all do it a different
mm,
way? So
uh, I want to ask, what do you? Because we also want to avoid the Windows like Metro situation on Windows 8, where they tried to unify all their devices into one OS.
oh no.
Um,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
so a more conservative idea is, what do you think if they just, instead of a full overhaul of Windows, is just a overhaul of like the Xbox app, where it's aiming more for a um, Steam big picture thing, and so you can boot directly into the Xbox app, and this is our GUI to have it. And then if you want to boot separately into Windows, you have that ability.
Yeah, that's absolutely. Turn all the rest of that crap off that we don't need at the time we playing our game. Like everything that we don't need, turn it off. Like it's such a hard thing to turn off all the background stuff that's just running in the background for no reason, sapping power. That's why this thing is so power hungry. It's because Windows is a beast. It's just too much when it comes to operating system for gaming, and I feel like they need to figure out a way to make that less. And there's a lot of unique and cool things coming down the pipeline for technology, making stuff smaller, package wise. I think they just did a patent for something where they allow for better ray tracing and like for on the Xbox Series X. And I've seen stuff about having their own plugins to make it native or like naturally be able to people to plug into games where they basically are making Windows more better for the accessible for the developers to create these FSR3 plugins or put these into their games, and they're streamlining that approach. What it tells me, in my opinion, is that they're gearing up Windows to be their next gaming platform, and that's fine with me. That's why I'm buying stuff on Windows, because I know Steam is going to be a big component of it, where regardless of what happens, it's not like they can't. Doesn't make sense for them not to. And even if I just have to use my Game Pass, I mean my Xbox stuff, they're gearing up for, in my opinion, for the Windows itself to be their next gaming platform, with a lot of the extra stuff coming, a lot of the cool stuff that they're doing with Windows and like what they're trying to do. Obviously, they want Windows to be better, but they don't want competition when it comes to the gaming market. Because, I mean, everybody knows if you want to game, you got to do it on a PC. And there's nobody out there. Maybe Apple is trying, but they can't come close yet. And
yeah, Apple is still a ways behind. They're trying to make shortcuts.
Yeah, they trying to make pretty much. And it's like, what can we do to keep elevating ourselves to not let anybody catch up? You already own one thing, and a lot of people like it, and you own another thing, and a lot of people like it, and they both are really gaming related. What do you do to make that better? You mesh it, you make it right, and you make it work good. So I think the next big thing coming down the pike for them is Windows-based console experience. That I'm truly looking forward to seeing what that looks like in the future. I really love the Steam Deck because of that reason. I never even used Linux, and because they wrapped it, that made me want to try it. Why would they not want to capitalize on that momentum? People loved it for that reason. They need to figure out a way to make theirs better, quicker, and more efficient. I'm not saying that I'm going to get rid of my Steam Deck. I think that there's just a lot of value in Steam's, in Linux and the freedom of it. But at the end of the day, they tapping into the PC to make it work. It just is what it is. I mean, they have to run, backyard tools to kind of get it to work. Versus, you own it. Why can't you? Why can't you tap into those Proton tools that they use to run games better?
Yeah.
And why can't you make something that's truly valuable? Like, obviously, they don't need your whole system to run the game. Why can they do it and you can't? That's the real wake up call I see that they're having to me. So I expect great things in the future. I hope for great things at least. And that's why I'm really dedicating myself to the library of that, because I am tired of buying I am tired of buying hardware that doesn't really last that long anymore, isn't really impactful to own. It's truly like you're waiting years and years for really good games, and even when the games come, they're mid. So it's like, why keep going through this trouble? I think there is a future where I don't buy a console. So but it's really going to be at that point where I truly think that we're all ready to kind of transition. So until then, obviously I'm gonna keep buying them, but I'm gonna keep stacking up my library as well, because I want to. It's all about preservation. I feel like I should have something to give the my children as they grow up. Like, I want them to have all this crap I'm buying that I can't get my money back on. Like, why would I want to give it, provide it elsewhere? I'm not saying that they're gonna just play games all day, but I'm just saying, like, if I'm gonna buy something, I'm gonna put my time into it. I'm gonna own something. I'd rather do it on a platform I know is gonna be around for a long time. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. That's what I'm thinking. And yeah, I think we're gonna see some cool stuff in the coming years for sure. But that's pretty much it. Anything lasting words, Josh, before we get up out of here?
No, that's pretty much it. We're gonna be in Tokyo for a couple days, so
Yes, sir.
give me your One Piece shopping list. See if we can find what you're looking for.
Yeah, I
Right
might
there.
send y'all one of those. Give me some figurine. What's them things called?
Yeah, figures, I think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I want. I was looking at the one for It was one I was looking at. I think it was for not Gear 5 but Gear 4. Um, so I see if I see something I want. I know they have better pricing over there versus here for sure.
Yeah, most of them are pretty reasonable, unless you're getting like a super rare one. But yeah.
Yeah. See who got some suitcase space. I know the last time Jaleel went crazy.
Mm, I know he's about to do it again, but
Yeah. But
yeah,
all
I'm
right.
be uh not just to you, but if you have any recommendations for like small PC games, like I play a little bit of Vampire Survivors. I know that
Oh
that's been
yeah,
popular. The small handheld games, but I'm looking for more smaller games like that on PC that I can enjoy. It was one I was looking at, but it's like a Gundam building game. It's not made by Gundam, but it's
yeah.
like
Hmm.
you know how you buy the figure and you put it together and you paint it and stuff like that. But it was like a little puzzle game where you're doing the
Okay.
same thing where you like building the figures. It was actually pretty fun and like chill. And I don't actually like building Gundams, but I like the designs of the robots and stuff like that. So if I have like 5-10 minutes, I might do that little puzzle game. But yeah, small PC games is kind of what I'm interested in. I need a break from 100-hour games. Dragon's Dogma is gonna take me months because I'm not gonna rush through it. But
Yeah.
small games, that's what I need.
I was looking at this one game they had on oh I was looking at this one game they had on the Humble Bundle called After Image. It's like a 2D like action scroller with like
Mhm.
different weapons and like different build outs you can use. Um, so I was looking at I was looking into playing that one. I forget how much it costs, but that was one of them that I was looking at. It
Okay.
looked pretty good. I think it recently came out too. So
Mhm.
that's one for now. That's $24. Never mind. But it looked good. It did look good. It came out in 2023. Um.
One game. My bad. Last thing, you playing Diablo? I got Diablo 4 on Game Pass, so I'm gonna play that as well. But there's
Mhm.
a Vampire Survivors inspired Diablo game.
Oh
So it's
really?
the same idea where it's like super, pixelated 2D game, but you're doing like Vampire Survivor waves, but it's a Diablo style game and characters. It's called Death Must Die, and it's on
Death
Steam.
must
It's
die.
I think it's like what was this $5? I'm looking at the Japanese price, but it should be cheap, like $5.
Hmm.
But I was thinking about trying that out. It seems pretty decent,
Oh.
very positive.
Hmm. What's it called again?
Death Must Die.
Death must die. Okay, well, we over here just sharing games now at this point. But we want to thank you guys for listening, of course, and we will be back next week with the same stuff, talking about the same stuff. Hopefully, Jalen don't say same old. And but yeah, we'll be back next week to talk more gaming news and interesting topics. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to this part. You're the real OG. Talk to y'all next time. Peace.